In an age of kings and empires, when the voice of God seemed distant, a storm was gathering over the heart of Judah. And into this storm, a young man was called, not by choice, but by divine command. A voice, ancient and eternal, spoke into the depths of his being. A whisper that would shape his destiny and the fate of a nation. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. This was the beginning of Jeremiah, a man whose heart would break for his people, and whose tears would water the parched soil of prophecy. The word of the Lord came to Jeremiah, not as a gentle stream, but as a consuming fire shut up in his bones. He stood in the courtyards of the temple, a place that had become a monument to ritual rather than a home for righteousness. His voice, filled with the passion of a divine warning, echoed against stone walls and indifferent hearts. Amend your ways and your deeds, and I will let you live in this place, he pleaded. But the people, confident in their traditions and deaf to the truth, turned their backs. They trusted in the structure of the temple more than the God who was meant to dwell there. The wind, like a sigh from heaven, scattered the sacred scrolls, their holy words ignored. Yet, amid the growing darkness and the coming storm, a single flame of truth, the word within Jeremiah, refused to be extinguished. It flickered defiantly, a testament to a message that could not be silenced, even if it was not heard. Jeremiah's warnings grew more urgent, his imagery more stark. He spoke of a broken cistern, a symbol of a people who had forsaken the spring of living water for cracked, empty vessels of their own making. He saw a lion, fierce and hungry, stirring in the north the rising empire of Babylon, an instrument of judgment poised to strike. Over the once fertile fields of Judah, the skies turned the color of ash and thunder. The people continued their empty worship, bowing to idols drenched by the coming rain, a rain that was not a blessing, but a precursor to the flood of wrath. "My heart is crushed within me," Jeremiah cried. He wept not for himself, but for the coming devastation, for a city that refused to see the storm clouds on its own horizon. The sound of a distant war drum began to blend with the thunder, a terrifying rhythm counting down the final days of Jerusalem's pride. And then the lion roared. The Babylonian armies, a relentless tide of iron and fury, surged against the walls of the holy city. The gates, once thought impenetrable, were breached. The sounds of celebration were replaced by the crackle of fire and the cries of the conquered. Flames consumed the houses, the palaces, and even the great temple, its golden facade melting under the intense heat. Jerusalem, the city of David, the joy of the whole earth, became a landscape of ruin and sorrow. Amidst the chaos, Jeremiah was found, not as a triumphant prophet, but as a prisoner in chains, his eyes reflecting the inferno that had consumed his home. The smoke and ashes swirled around him, rising toward a silent heaven. The walls had fallen, the songs had died, the promises seemed broken. Yet even there, in the deepest pit of despair, surrounded by the ghosts of a fallen kingdom, the prophet's tears became a prayer, a silent, heartbreaking communion with the God who judges and grieves. But destruction was not the final word. From the ashes of Jerusalem, a new message began to emerge, carried on the wings of hope. Jeremiah, though his own life was fraught with hardship and exile, sent letters to the captives carried away to Babylon. His words were not of despair, but of endurance and promise. Build houses and settle down. Plant gardens and eat what they produce. seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you into exile." It was a radical command, to find life in the land of their captivity, to trust that God's presence was not confined to the ruined temple walls. For even in the heart of a foreign empire, God was at work. His plans for them were not for disaster, but for a future filled with hope. As the first rains of a new season fell upon the desolate fields of Judah, tiny green shoots began to sprout, a quiet promise of restoration. In the distance, families began the slow, arduous work of rebuilding, their actions a testament to a faith that outlasts empires. A soft, amber dawn began to break, not just over a new land, but in the hearts of the exiles, hinting at a return that was yet to come. From the depths of sorrow to the heights of an unshakable promise, the story of Jeremiah is a testament to the enduring power of God's word. A single tear, falling upon ancient parchment, encapsulates a prophet's love for his people and a God's love for his creation. The fire that burned in Jeremiah's bones, the fire of truth, of justice, and of relentless hope, was never extinguished by the fires of war or the dust of exile. It is a fire that still burns today, calling us to listen, to turn, and to trust in a God whose plans for us are always for a future and a hope. The tears of the prophet have long since dried, but his message echoes through eternity. A reminder that even when the sun is hidden by clouds, it is always waiting to break through. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life of Jeremiah. If this story moved you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more stories of faith and history. Your support helps us continue to share these powerful messages. Until next time, may you find hope in the promises that endure.